We will begin with the second session of this particular module. In the second part of this module, what we are going to discuss is how does anthropometry works, how it works to assess, and second point, what anthropometric measurements and indices are used for the children and adolescents of the age group of 5 to 19 years to assess these particular problems. And then lastly, we have to see what are the tools, what are those tools or what are those indices which would help to interpret these problems and to assess these problems. So, what anthropometric measurements and indices are used for the children and adolescents of the age group of 5 to 19 years. Now, this section describes the anthropometric measurements or anthropometric indices which are being commonly used for this age group. Now, what are those indices or what are those measurements which we will have to look for to assess the problems? The measurements and indices which should be included and which should support not only just indices, but it also support what are the or you can say that along with these indices or along with this anthropometric measurement, the whatever the measurements we will have after doing the survey and whatever the indices which we will be using for interpreting, we have to also look for or we have to also see the health status, the dietary intake, the food security status, as well as the stage of puberty, the stage of growth, as well as the care practices. All those things we have to look for assessing all these anthropometric measurements and to give our what I can say the inferences as far as the this particular sub part of the anthropometric measurements and indices is concerned. Okay. So, how does anthropometry works? Means what are the things which works for anthropometry or what are the things which we take help of under the heading of anthropometry or under the technique of anthropometry which would help us to assess the nutritional problems. So, the first is height for age, second is weight for age, third BMI for age, the fourth very important is MUSE, and the last but not the least is bilateral pitting edema. So, the first thing is measurement for height for age. Now, what is that height for age means? It considers the child or adolescent's height relative to his or her age as well as sex. This is very important, means how the indices is used, how any index which you use as a measurement, any index which you use as a measurement, you have to see how you compare it. So, what it considers height for age, what it considers? It considers the height of a child or adolescence in relation or as compared to his or her age and the sex, which will see we have seen what are those conditions in which the anthropometry is useful, and under those conditions or among those conditions we had gone through that condition, that condition was stunting. So, here this particular index, the height for age, that index always helps in identifying whether the child is stunted or not. Now, height for age, I said just now height for age. Now, if you look at a child of a age of 8 years and you see a adolescence of a age of 18 years or 19 years, and if you compare both the boy and a girl to see that means how they grow in their height, you will find that for a girl the achievement is at a little earlier age, that means at the age of 16 to 17 the child achieves almost 99 to 100% of her height, maximum height what she can get, she achieves around 16 to 17 years of her age. Whereas, as far as boy is concerned, it took one more year, that means he can achieve up to the age of 18 years and it may proceed on up to the age of 21 years. That is the thing which is differing in both sexes. So, that is what I said in the beginning, that height for age, when you say height for age, you should consider the sex in the picture. So, height for age, if you compare this chart for height for age and you see what is an average height in a boy as compared to the age, and what is the average height in a girl as compared to the age. And look at, I will just consider one example of a height of about 9 years of age. You can see the average height which should be there in a 9 years of age of a boy. You find that it is around 132.6 centimeters. This is described in the scale of centimeter, not any other scale. It is described under the scale of centimeters. So, it is 132.6 centimeter on an average for a boy of age of about 9 years. As compared to that, if you see in a girl, it comes to 132.5. So, it is little less, but as compared to, why I have taken this particular age group of 9 or age of 9, because if you see in this that the figures in a boy or a girl are more or less same, but if you just compare there onwards up to the age of 19, there is a big difference. I can say you one more thing, that you see, just compare this chart and go through from 15 to 19. At the age of 15, you find the height on average is about 169 centimeter for a boy, whereas it is about 161.7 centimeter for a girl. There onward, if you compare it with a boy and a girl, you find that for a boy from 15 to 19, he can grow on an average 163.2 to 176.5. So, that much height he can get or he can achieve. As compared to that, if you look at a girl, you can see a 15 years old of a girl, the height is about 161.7 centimeter, that can grow only up to, on an average I am saying, or that can go only up to 163.2 centimeter. See the difference between the height of a growing boy and height of a growing girl, and that makes a sense that when you use this index of age and height, or age per height, or height and age comparatively index under the category of technique of anthropometry, you should always look as per the different sex. That is very important. Now, look at this figure. You see, I have selected a figure where all the child or all those children seen in the picture are about 9 years of age, and average height we have just seen that it is about 132 centimeter. Just now we have compared the chart. So, it is about 132 centimeter. Now, look at those child, they are quite below those. So, I can call these child as a stunted child. So, this stunted child can be measured by this height for the age group. Then next, weight for the age. Second category, second index, the weight for the age. What could be the probable weight one should have as per his or her age? So, what does it helps? Means what does this index helps? This index helps to provide a better indication of nutritional status. This helps always. It helps to provide a better indication of nutritional status than the previous one. Why? Because it helps to differentiate the underweight, the overweight, and the obese child or adolescents. These are the three categories of a child or adolescent: underweight child or overweight child or adolescent child, the obese child and adolescents. You can see that all these three categories, underweight, overweight and obese, that can be categorized by using this index weight for the age. Now, weight for the age is more used out of all 5 to 19, it is more commonly used in the age group of 5 to 10 years. So, weight for the age, what it does? It helps to compare the weight related you can see the reflex things. When you say that a child is underweight, you can see that you may find the child is undervesting, you may find the child is stunted, or you may find both, a stunted child with a vesting muscle, and that has reflected the weight of the child